Okay, so here we are, a year and a half since Trump took office. He took office in January 2017. Right now, Trump is over in the UK, um, and of course, there is protests going on, anti-Trump protests, protesting his arrival. Um, so it's safe to say that Trump is a polarizing figure. The thing is, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a MAGA populist type of guy. But for me, I take a more nuanced view of Trump. I'm not someone who is a rabid fan, and I'm not someone who is rabidly against him and thinks he's a Nazi. So the resist crowd kind of tries to give Trump a bad rap when it's really unwarranted for the most part. So let's go over some of the things that the modern left, these resistors, claim about Trump to try to make him seem like he's the worst president we've ever had. Trust me, we've had worse presidents. So probably the biggest one is that he's racist. I often ask people to provide me an example of one time where Trump was racist, and they cannot find anything. Sometimes they'll say, well, he doesn't like Mexicans. He's racist against Mexicans. How so? What he said is that he wants to enforce immigration laws that are already on the books. He wants a strong border security, and he wants to prosecute people who are in the country illegally. He doesn't say he wants to prosecute Mexicans or Latinos or Hispanics specifically, or that he wants to keep out Latinos, Mexicans specifically. He wants anybody of any skin color, any nationality, any ethnicity, if they break the law by entering our country illegally, they will. He wants to. Uh, he wants to go by the laws and prosecute them and deport them. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. Everyone's treated equally. It could be a person illegal immigrating from Europe. He would treat them the same. Sometimes they'll say, um, because he wants to ban Muslims. Well, first of all, Islam is not a race. You can say Arab or Persian is a race, but Islam is not a race. They say that he's racist because, well, he's racist because he wants this he made this travel ban on countries that are predominantly Arab or Persian Islamic nations. This is ignoring the fact that this travel ban also includes Venezuela and North Korea. The travel ban is not it's not a ban of Muslims. Muslims are free to come and go in and out of the United States from any other country. Um, and Venezuela and North Korea are not Muslim countries. The travel ban is there temporarily to prevent possible anti-American belligerents from coming over here and causing problems. Obama did the same thing when he was in office for Iraq and Iran, and nobody called him out on it. So that is another way that falls flat. And another thing that people claim that he's racist for is the story about a Trump hotel employee. And this Trump hotel employee is anonymous. Nobody knows who this person is, but this person claims to be a manager. They were a manager at a Trump hotel in the 70s. almost 50 years ago, who claimed that they once overheard Trump say in a meeting or something that he doesn't want, no, it wasn't a Trump hotel, it was like a Trump apartment complex or some kind of housing thing, that he doesn't want black people there. How are we supposed to assume that this is true? This anonymous source who conveniently waited until the election, until Trump was campaigning for president, to come out with this story. They could have come out with it years and years ago, decades ago, but they waited, supposedly. So I don't really believe this story, because anyone can say anything about anybody and remain anonymous and say it happened decades ago. We can't really prove it. So I don't buy that one. Now, another criticism of Trump is that he is supposedly alienating our allies in Europe by not respecting them. Now, here's the deal. Trump is not a let's go out for a walk and sip some tea and watch the pretty flowers on the trees like they do in Western Europe. That's how they do diplomacy there in foreign relations. Trump is not that kind of guy. He is a very staunch, stubborn person. He has conservative fiscal ideas, which does not jive with Western Europe currently. Angela Merkel sees herself as the de facto leader of Europe as a whole. She'd love to just rule over all of Europe and be basically the ruler of the entire continent. Trump knows this, and that's why he's tough with her. That's why she's mad at him. Look at what Trump is doing in Asia. Asia, the way politics is done in Asia is a lot more up Trump's alley. Asia is all about projecting strength and projecting stubbornness in a way, and really making sure that you're compromising as little as possible. They aren't about going out and drinking tea and going to an opera and fancy dinners and such. They're about getting down to business and being really, really tough with each other. Then, of course, we get to the pussy grabbing complaints. Now, let me give you some background on this comment. This comment was recorded, and Trump was unaware of this. He was having a private conversation with people that he thought were his friends, off the cuff. And he said that he was talking about how these beautiful, gorgeous models will just come up to him and let him grab them by the pussy, do whatever that he wants with them, because he's so rich and powerful and famous. And he was basically just bragging about how women will let him do whatever he wants to them, consensually. He wasn't groping them without their consent. He was saying that they allowed him to do it. This is the context that people are missing. Trump is a womanizer. He likes to sleep around. He likes beautiful women. This has been known for decades. He was a regular on the Howard Stern show. People have known this for a long time, that he is kind of a womanizing, kind of a bit of a sex hound. Why, when he started running for president, were people suddenly acting surprised and offended by it? Hollywood, I mean, he was on the Howard Stern show, and the comedians and such that show up on that show, and that kind of whole circle are all about being raunchy. And so I don't understand why people are surprised, because Trump was from that circle. He was a New York City socialite. So I don't understand why people are surprised that he's a womanizer. All these women that are coming out accusing him, that saying that he raped them, is probably mostly BS. It's women looking for money, similar to the Michael Jackson case where people accused Michael Jackson of molestation. They were looking for money. He had this weird image, public persona, and they thought it would be easy. Same thing with Trump. People say that Trump is an idiot. Okay, Trump's wealth was amassed from a loan of $1 million. He is now a billionaire. To turn that into billions of dollars would require more than being an idiot. Trump is intelligent. Trump is well traveled. He's traveled all over the world. He's done business all over the world. He's not a moron. And there are world leaders who understand this. People understand this, but people look at him misspelling words on Twitter or using the wrong word or these minor things, and they go, aha, he's a complete moron. No, he's not. People make typos all the time. People misspell words all the time, and doesn't make them a moron. They just have to double check. And Trump's not really the kind of guy to double check stuff, I think. At least on Twitter. Other things, yeah. So now let's get to the big one. Trump being a white nationalist, white supremacist Nazi. Putting little kids in cages. Does the left, these resistors, not realize how insulting that is to people who suffered under the atrocities of the Holocaust? Some of those people are still alive. So I can't imagine how they feel when someone says that Trump is like the new Hitler when they lived under that. Trump isn't anywhere near Hitler. Trump is a moderate Republican. 10 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, he would have been a Democrat. Let's not forget that the NAACP gave Trump an award for hiring so many black people in his companies. Calling Trump a Nazi is a surefire way to make people disregard anything else you have to say as an argument. He's not rounding people up at the border. He is not racist. He's not anti-Semitic. He's not Islamophobic. He's never done or said anything to make anyone in their right mind think this. And this is me being an impartial observer. I'm not Republican. I try to give every politician the benefit of the doubt. And I judge them based on their actions. Trump has really not done anything to warrant the hatred that is being thrown on him by the modern left and the resistors. They're angry that Hillary and Bernie lost, and they're trying to gear up for 2020, and they're trying to rally their support. That's all they're doing. But right now, in the United States, the Democratic Party really has no real platform. And I can see a schism happening in the Democratic Party, especially, and this will happen most certainly if Trump's reelected. The Democrats will split into the neoliberal camp, who are basically indistinguishable from neoconservatives. I'm talking about the warmongering, big government, anti-civil liberties, they want to keep weed illegal Democrats, such as Hillary Clinton. And then they will split from the socialists and the progressives, the Bernie Sanders types. It may create a new party, or they may be able to come together and revamp and create a new Democratic Party, combining the ideologies of both sides. But yeah, they're in trouble right now, the Democrats. So, yeah, Trump gets a bad rap for no real reason. He doesn't deserve all the hatred that people are throwing on him. And I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a Republican. I didn't vote for him. As an impartial observer, I can see that the modern left is being very, very vicious and biased against him simply because he's doing things that are going in that he's trying to dismantle Obamacare. He's trying to build a border wall, strengthen border security, and cut taxes. Those are the three real things that the modern left despise him for. And because they don't really have that much besides the wall, cutting taxes and so cutting taxes, the wall is the one thing that people get all emotional for because they connect that with racism. But they don't have a real way of rallying a lot of support unless they call them racism or call them racist. And that is how they pander, and that's how they get people to vote for them. Because they'll say, don't vote for, we're not Trump. Hey, black guy, you don't want to vote for Trump because one time Trump said a mean thing about black people in the 70s with an unverified anonymous source, but believe us, he really said it. Meanwhile, they don't have any real ideas of their own. So yeah, it's kind of just a sort of rambling video about how Trump is getting all this bad stuff thrown at him when he's not really that bad. Well, that's all I have to say for that. Thanks for watching.